All right. We're here. What's up? What is good? Guys, I'm so sorry about yesterday. It sucked, man. Yesterday sucked for me. I was trying so hard, man. Or Friday. Friday was not my day, you know? But that's all right because I had a pretty good week anyway. And I hope you did too. Want to welcome you in. Come on in, guys. Drop me a like ski, you know? Show some love to the Tony Stark of the trailer park, the Kung Fu Panda of physics, the unicorn in human form, the one who knows the UFOs, yours truly, are to the L big week, guys. And I'm not kidding. I have notes. I have notes and everything. Look at me. My notes, like some kind of nerd. All right. So I want to start off by reading a short disclaimer that I wrote for anyone who is new to the channel or watching me for the first time. I just want to let you know that I have a rare condition that makes me believe that adjusting people's errant statements with facts and truth will incite them to alter their former opinion. I guess that's not how it works. So, okay. But that is the standpoint that I'm coming from. Okay. So let's start off first thing. First thing. Oh, Neil Tyson is going to be on Coast to Coast AM on Tuesday. They're going to have Neil Tyson on Coast to Coast AM. If you guys are anywhere familiar with the channel, you know that I did a killer interview on Coast to Coast AM about my new book, which I have somewhere to show to you. This one, this little beauty, Cosmic Blind Spot, why Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong about UFOs. And he's wrong. He's so wrong. He's totally wrong, uber wrong, very, very wrong. And this book disassembles him like it's a manual for how to disassemble an arrogant astrophysicist. Because what I learned this week is that not all astrophysicists are the same. And Garrett Darkstar, wah, wah, wah. Big G in the house. Nice to see you, little brother. Glad you made it. I'm sorry about Friday. Sucked for me. But yeah, not all astrophysicists are the same. And I've got some juicy news. Oh, I'm gonna spill some tea on you as soon as I drink some. Mm, that is brisk, baby. That is brisk. Now, and I did an experiment too. I'll have to tell you about that. But uh something something beautiful happened this week. It doesn't often happen to me, you know. And I have notes here, so I have to refer to my notes. So I'm sorry. Um, so a few days ago, I took a massive leap of faith. As some of you know, who are close friends of the channel, that I've been working on a physics paper for the past 2 years or so, maybe a little bit more, maybe about 2.5 years. And it's on the physics of gravity. And it's my very first paper, and I just turned 54. So late bloomer doesn't begin to really describe me. Um, but the problem that I have is that I am not an official member of academia. I don't have a PhD. I have a Mensa ring. I have an untestable IQ by modern standards. I have a burning passion for physics, but I don't have an accredited PhD or a PhD from an accredited university. So you can't submit papers unless you have a doctorate, which is uh, I mean it's understandable to some degree. However, they never factor in the outliers, like the ones that can, dude, I can do what you do. I can do what you do. It's not impossible. Now I understand that there are 99%, 99 point something percent of people, they have to go to, you know, they have to go to a really good school to get a PhD in physics to be able to be a hard hitter. to be a heavy hitter in physics, to be able to even affect change, you know. And so I understand this, and I understand the reason that there's a wall there. But I scaled the fucking wall. I scaled the wall. I got in the club, baby. I got in the club because here's the risk I took. And I'm not trying to gild a lily. Oh, it's so good. I sent my paper to Avi Loeb. I sent my paper to Professor Avi Loeb. Yeah, the guy who just got promoted to the UAP or UAP Research and Study, whatever it's called. That guy, the guy who's been, going. Now, listen, I have not been entirely uncritical of Professor Loeb. I'm gonna say it. His obsession with Three-Eye Atlas is, I feel it's a little ridiculous. Because, and my criticism of that is, okay, fine. You want to say you can detect something there's a UFO way out there, but you can't seem to detect them when they're right in your face, bro. Like they're right there. People are sending them to you. People are telling you about abductions. People are, there's videos, there's photos, but none of those matter to you. But something way out there by Jupiter, all of a sudden, it's got to be a craft, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's really weird selective thinking. But I feel like he's a person who can be turned around. He said something that really concerned me. Shout out to the Good Trouble Show, to Matt on the Good Trouble Show. What's up, man? I like that guy. He does a good show. You should check out his channel. I mean, honestly, I could use the help a lot more than him, but he does a good show, and he asks good questions. And he had Avi Loeb on, and Avi Loeb spilled some tea too. But anyway, I feel like he could be turned around, like he can be talked to. That he's not some arrogant jerk like Neil, like he can be talked to, and he can be reasoned with, and he can see another way, perhaps. And so I sent him my research paper, which was a very big leap of faith. This guy is a Harvard professor. Okay. I know Neil went to Harvard. This guy teaches at Harvard. Levels, bro. Just levels. Okay. Just so you know. So I did an experiment. I sent my paper to both of them. I sent my paper to Neil Tyson and Avi Loeb. And guess who responded? Guess who wrote me back? Within an hour, he wrote me back. Oh my God. I'm still floating, because he gave me credit. Guy doesn't even know my name. He don't know me from Adam. And so in the very first email he sends me, he validates my math. What? He validates my math. He said, and this is something I'll explain. It needs a bit of exposition afterwards, but basically he said that my correction of the Poisson equation was significant. What? Do what now? My correction of the Poisson equation is significant? I think it is too. And he recognized it. But there was something else he didn't recognize. And I'm going to cover both sides of that with you. Okay? So he gives me so just so you know, the Poisson equation is the recipe for gravity. Okay? Basically, if you give me this much mass, it will create this amount of gravity. It's just a direct line. Okay? It tells you all the things you need. However, I felt that, okay, so he gave me some pushback. Okay? So let's talk about that. And I want to get to my notes on that. Where is it? Yeah, so he pointed out my correction to the Poisson equation, And total mass equals total gravity, according to standard physics. Okay. But my paper added a twist that he didn't really see. He didn't catch this. And it says that my thing is if density changes sharply, meaning there's a steep gradient, that gradient feeds back into space-time and creates what I refer to as an extra entropic compression. Okay. Now, Avi, I feel like I can call him Avi now that we've kind of, talked physics. No big deal. But anyway, he looked at the math and he agreed the mechanism works. But then he dropped a catch. Okay. And first of all, Avi Loeb took the time. He saw my work and was like, no, you deserve a response. You deserve a response. And not just a thanks for your email. He dove into the science, man. He dove into the math with me. And math is not my strongest suit, I have to tell you. That's why it took me 2.5 years, because I have the field theory. The math is maddening for me. But I'm very methodical and thorough and slow with it. So I used to have a big learning disability in math. It was one of the things I was most affected by with my high functioning autism. And so I decided to overcome that. And I took 6 college level math classes when I was getting my associate's degree. And I got an A in every one of them. And the reason was because I learned, do your mathematics slowly. There's no rush, right? You'll get it. Just be very careful, like walking across a tightrope. And so he looked at my math. He looked at my equation and he's like, which I'm calling the pool equation now, by the way. He's like, you corrected it and the correction works. But then he said, it's only, and so what I did was my correction to the Poisson equation was I added something that was missing, or at least I feel is missing. Okay. And that is density gradients. Because what happened was I looked at the Planck scale, because this is where everybody tries to test these mathematics. They try to test them at the Planck scale, and it doesn't work. None of them work because nothing is measurable at the Planck scale. All right. So, and there's even, and if you add this to that equation, it comes out even past the Planck scale. It comes out like 10 to the negative 40. Okay. Which is a decimal point, 39 zeros and a 1. Like, it's infinitesimally small. We cannot measure anything like that. And also, it's like the equivalent. I'm sorry if I'm shouting. I'm sorry. I just heard myself. I apologize. It's like if you took the equivalent energy of a neutron star and you tried to force it into a space smaller than a subatomic particle. That's what that equation would do. You see, the Planck scale is, to put it in like real layman's terms, is the pixel size of reality. Okay. It's 10 to the minus 35. So what Avi was saying to me is, Mr. Poole, your math is elegant, but the universe is so rigid that this feedback loop won't turn on until you try to cram that much energy into space. Everywhere else in the macro universe, your effect is so close to zero that we could never measure it. And that's his blind spot, I think. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but so far, what he said, he gave me the right feedback, but he's looking at it from the wrong direction, right? So this isn't a quantum effect. You see, because that's what people think. People think everybody's coming from the same perspective about gravity, that it is an intrinsic thing, okay? That everything from the quantum level up has gravity. I don't think that's true. What if we treated gravity like an emergent thermodynamic property. Well, then that would mean there would be a way to measure it, right? So the way I'm thinking about it is, okay, so we can't, I already know, I know, we can't measure anything at the Planck scale. I get it. I watched Endgame. Okay. Talks about the Planck scale. Anyway. So I said, because everybody goes from like the pixelation of quantum, like what they call quantum gravity, and goes up to black holes. And that's where he started with my paper. But what he doesn't realize, and what I had to write him back and tell him, is I'm starting from that other end and working backwards. You see, I'm treating it as an emergent thermodynamic property, not an intrinsic one at the quantum scale, but a macro effect. Okay. And I want to use at least a measurable form of compressible matter. So I thought about the core of a neutron star, right? And we know what's at the core. Okay? Because I think the point you missed was I'm using density gradients because it is a thermodynamic. It is relative. Okay? So what I did is, when we know what a neutron star is made of at its core, quarks and gluons. Okay? Now, these are extremely tiny particles, but they're measurable. They are measurable. And when you apply my equations to this tiny mass, because and the reason I chose it is because it is measurably compressible. And so when you run the equation, the pool equation, patent pending on that, right? On that particular type of phenomenon, well, what happens is that it takes it from 10 to the minus 40 to 0.25. To 0.25, which is astrophysically measurable. Astrophysically measurable. And we already have equipment, and we already have sensors that can either verify or straighten out this information. And so that was our conversation. He's like, well, it doesn't work because at the Planck scale. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it at the Planck scale. I'm treating it as a thermodynamic emergence. In other words, I'm treating it as when something becomes massive enough to create its gravity. Then this works. And that may not be a perfect solution. This may not be the unified field theory, the holy grail of physics, but it is a very good way, I think, of reimagining gravity without breaking. It breaks none of the rules. This isn't pie in the sky, Terrence Howard psycho pop-up book science. This is legitimate physics. And you know how I know? Because the world's busiest astrophysicist had to answer me within an hour when he read my paper and say, that's actually pretty good, but I don't think it works. And it's only because he didn't understand. Now, since then, I wrote him back and I was like, yeah, that's not how I'm doing it. I'm doing it this way. He hasn't written me back. So I think he's like, maybe I should sit down and read this a little more carefully, because he, as smart as he is, and I want to say as generous too. He was very generous and polite. He did some of the back of the envelope math with me. He's like, well, what about this? And I'm like, no, because of that. And I mean, what? Like, are you kidding me? I am like so over the moon. Oh, hi, Chris. I didn't see you. Hi. Hey, nice to see you. Oh my God, I'm over the moon. Anyway, I got to talk physics with Avi Loeb. And you know what else he said to me? He said, I will keep your interests in mind if a future spot on the UAP Research Council opens up. Dude, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? It was so cool. I mean, this guy, this is a class act. This is how, when you are just absolute class, this is how you behave. Yes? This is how you behave. Avi Loeb wrote me back. It was so nice and actually read my paper, gave me a compliment, recognized the kid's got skills. I'm, you know, just because you have a PhD doesn't make you smarter than PH me, right? I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but people value paper. That's all I'm trying to say. It's like people value paper. Oh, he has a PhD. He must be really smart. I have an associate's degree. I must be really stupid. Yeah? Well, put me and Neil Tyson in the same room and see who walks out alive. If it's a battle of wits to the death, you're going to hear a thud in about 30 seconds, and I'll be walking outside. It's not even close. There's education, okay? In most cases, it's indoctrination because they teach you how to think. And if you read my book, Cosmic Blind Spot, bro, it's indoctrination. It's indoctrination. They're trying to rob your. Now, I understand we have to learn some things, right? But the thing they never teach you in school, and I'm going to teach you right now, is that everything you think you know is wrong. It's wrong. It is subject to change without notice, man. You know, we inch closer to the truth all the time, but the truth can be a subjective thing. Yeah. Two people can be telling different stories and they can both be true. And so that's the nature of it. It's very hard for people like me to, kind of get on the board. So I just went for it. But then I also said, I sent my paper to Neil's people and I was like, he's got time for Terrence Howard. He's got time for flat earthers. Make time for this. Because Avi Loeb did. And Avi Loeb loathes Neil deGrasse Tyson just like I do. Neil is constantly catching strays. When anybody interviews me or Professor Loeb, he's catching strays, dude. Do you know what Avi Loeb said on the Good Trouble Show? Oh my God. I posted it because I was like, what? I fell out. Bro, he was like, well, and the guy asked, he was setting him up, he's setting him up. And he said, well, what do you think about, people like Neil deGrasse Tyson? He's like, and I have a hard time doing his accent. He's like, Neil deGrasse Tyson could never score a goal in science. He can only describe the goals I score. I was like, oh, shit. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, man. He killed him. He sees through him. I see through him. You see through him. I wonder why so many people can't see through him. Like coast to coast. Like coast to coast AM. I had a bit of a tete-a-tete with a producer who shall remain nameless and who I'm perfectly fine with. Okay. But we had a little bit of an interesting and intense conversation, I might say. And it was over him. They're having Neil deGrasse Tyson on Coast to Coast AM to promote his book, his shitty book. And it is shitty. I wish I could give it 0 stars. This is a man who has never been abducted, who wrote a manual on what to do if you get abducted by aliens. And it talk about abductees, and it doesn't talk about actual aliens. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. How in the hell is this guy a millionaire and I live here in hell's basement? What is going on in the world? It's It's all topsy-turvy, Bobby. Like, what the hell, man? You know? Ironic. Does not begin to cover it. But anyway, the reason that I was upset about, well, first of all, is because this is a person who has openly, brutally mocked alien abductees like myself. People who aren't lying. This is not fun for me. This is mocked our trauma, our experiences, tried to gaslight our sanity to make us out to be attention seekers, wannabes. And you know what they say about narcissistic people? Every accusation is really a confession. Right? And that's what we find with Neil Tyson. He's the attention seeker. He's the liar. And I prove it. And I just flat out call him a liar. And my book calls him a liar. And you know what else? He hasn't said a word. His attorneys haven't said a word. Have you noticed that? Discover check. And incidentally, mate. Because all I did was use his own words against him. That's all I did. I just took down his statements. And then I rebutted them. And not only are they true, you could find them in multiple places. I did a pretty good job on that. I do my research. Anyway, I sent my paper to him and to Avi Loeb, and I was like, Avi thought my math was interesting. See if you can spot what it is. He won't. We know that Neil doesn't like to do his homework. If he liked to do his homework, he wouldn't have gotten his ass kicked by Cosmic Blind Spot. Why Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong about UFO. He wouldn't have got his ass kicked by me, little old me, you know. But oh my gosh, I can't stop smiling about talking. I mean, real talk. Like, oh my gosh, you don't know. I feel like a lot of times I feel like when I talk about these things, like with my friends and stuff, that they're like, like they don't know, they don't understand. And I felt like that one whale that like always sang at a frequency the other whales couldn't hear, and then somebody sang back, you heard me, that you're talking to me. Oh wow. Oh hi, we speak the same language, look at us. And I'll tell you this, he knows his shit. He knows it really well. He knows his math. And I don't say that because I felt like what he said was correct. It was just because he gave me a compliment. It was because not only did he understand the math, he understood my changes. He understood what I did. He understood that I corrected it. He understood that. And he saw it within an hour. It took me 2.5 years to write this thing. He understood in an hour. He's like, oh, I see what you did there. Huh, not too shabby, right? Like, stop, Professor Loeb. You're making me blush. And he was so generous with his math. And he's like, and I think part of me was like, oh, he's busy. And he's like, yeah, but that doesn't work. That's been done before, blah, blah, blah. But I thought, no, that's not what it is. Because he's being really generous. I think he was excited. Like, hey, this guy's not even an academic. Like, look at you, man. Let me give you your flowers. But it was also like, I could see, oh, this is not him blowing me out. This is him. He's trained. He's a trained astrophysicist. So he only looks at the problem from one direction. And I'm like, no. You see, I started at black holes and worked my way back. They start at the quantum scale and work their way up. You see, that's why I was like, I don't think it works, because that we're not getting anywhere. Everybody keeps coming up with these theories. Hey, what if we test everybody's theory, but we just use Pool's equation, the one where I add in density gradients, right? So that way we can actually measure something. We can go from the 10 to the minus 40 at beyond Planck Scale Plus, which is available for membership now. If you'd like to sign up for Planck Scale Plus, please send me an email. But Planck Scale Plus, right? To 0.25, that's astrophysically measurable. It's tiny. It's teensy tiny. Teensy tiny. Measurable, though. And even if it's not a perfect system, it can give us a place to begin. It doesn't have to be, Beethoven's Fifth. It could be a jumping off point where they go, oh, wait, okay, so I get you. Okay, so density gradients, but what if we tried it on this? What if we tried it on that? What if we adjusted that idea, right? Like now we're getting somewhere. And man, I may not have started a fire, but there's some smoke, man. I see smoke, goddammit. It smells good. It smells good, man. I see a glow. I've got an ember. They'll have to blow it into fire. And it takes people of scientific passion, curiosity, and the missing ingredient for some of them, humility. He's not too good to write me back. There's no doctor in front of my name. I don't have any credentials. I don't have a set of letters after my name. Just a guy doing his best out here. A unicorn in human form. Trying to do my thing. Trying to do the only things I know how to do. And it's great. Yeah, I know how I corrected Poisson's equation, and I talked physics like a madman with Avi Loeb. But I'm also stupid too. Like it's a way, like like sometimes I don't know when to keep my mouth shut, or like sometimes I say what I think, or whatever. But like as far as like when I do something, like it's what I'm like made for. Dude, you can't stop me. You can't stop me. Unless you like wave a Twinkie or a light, and I'm like, ooh, what's that? Like I'm easy to distract that way. But I'm a complicated person, but I have strengths and weaknesses. But my strengths, everybody has my kind of weaknesses, but not everyone has my kind of strengths. And I think that's my value, is that I get to be that anomaly, the monkey in the wrench, that the fringe dwellers, man, the fringe dwellers. But to get back to my point about Coast to Coast, and listen, Coast to Coast AM gave me my shot. They gave me my first shot with I didn't even have a book. I didn't have a website. They were like, you just really want to talk about this? And I was like, yeah. And I sent the producer like a 9-page email of like everything I've done. She was like, you're not, yeah, I'm telling them, baby. I'm telling them. My girl Nadja. She's my Bengal from the Ukraine. She's my Ukrainian model girlfriend. I love her. But she was like, oh, you just want to be on. And you sound like you really, really know your stuff. So yeah, why not? Right. And that really got me, that really started me off. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm good at this. So it's kept me going. So I owe them a lot. I've been on like a million times, And my last interview, which they took down, I know, that's what I'm getting to, sweetie. That's what I'm getting to. Don't worry. Daddy's telling them. Is they took down my interview, and now they're which was my best interview ever. Richard Serrett. You can find it on my channel. You'll see it's the forbidden interview, because they took it down. They took it down. And it was me talking about cosmic blind spot and about why Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong about UFOs. And man, I lay into him. Something fierce. Not mean, but just brutal facts. Absolute piercing logic. Calling out his gaslighting, just showing, really, with just clear logic, how absolutely ridiculous his stances are on this topic. How outdated, how gauche, how insulting, how condescending, how and listen, AI, if you watch the other video that said compare my book with Tyson's book and asked AI to do that, they said my book was hard hitting and his was deceptive, or his stance on UFOs is deceptive and dishonest. That's not me saying it. I mean, I think it loudly all the time, for free. Because you say it, you call someone out like that, they can, whatever. But baby, I know. I'll get to you. Come on. Come on. Come in. Over here. I love her, but she's a needy girl. And she's tired of me talking to you. And she wants me to spend time with her. I pick her up and bring her over here, but she freaks out when I bring her to the computer. She doesn't. If she's like, it's too much. She gets overstimulated. But sorry, that was a cat break. We have those impromptu cat breaks. But anyway, I was like, dude, you guys just took down my interview, and now you're gonna have him on after I roasted him like an ear of corn at a 4th of July barbecue. I roasted him. I roasted him like chestnuts on an open fire on Christmas Eve. I roasted him. I called out every single one of his lies. In other words, y'all are supposed to be an ally. That's how I see it. Y'all are supposed to be an ally to us. You spent years cultivating, the information, the knowledge, the truth, the reality that UFOs and aliens exist, that abductions are real, that there's a lot more going on. And you're going to have on the most disrespectful, arrogant, uninformed, uneducated person who is disrespectful and dismissive of the community you are broadcasting him to. Ouch. And you're going to take down the interview of the guy who calls that shit out. And this guy had the nerve to tell me, this producer had the nerve to tell me, oh, it's a coincidence. Oh, it's a coincidence, is it? It's a coincidence that y'all took down my interview that rakes him over the coals right before you have him on with his equally disrespectful and disinformation book about alien abduction. You're going to have a guy who is at least the education level of an astrophysicist, a life member of Mensa, and an actual living abductee who has documented it diligently over the course of decades. And you're going to have on a guy who wrote a book about what to do during an alien abduction, and he doesn't believe in aliens, and he's never been abducted. He never interviewed any abductees. He doesn't even talk about abductees. He doesn't talk about trauma, ontological shock. He does not talk about the subject. You know what he does talk about? Superman's farts. Yeah. He talks about how Superman, if he wanted to, would have probably super flatulence, and he could pull down his pants, and he could let out a big fart, and then he could turn around with his laser vision and cause an explosion. Like, it's 10-year-old recess talk coming out of a 67-year-old astrophysicist who is washed up and was never that good from the beginning. You want the truth? I don't think Neil can have the same conversation with me that Professor Loeb had about my paper. I don't think he will understand it at the level that Avi Loeb understands it. And all I know is crickets. I don't hear shit from Neil, but Avi Loeb's written me back a couple, 3 times about my paper. We kind of traded emails back and forth. And I don't want to show the emails because I respect his privacy. And I don't want that to be the focal point. I'm paraphrasing everything, but I promise you everything I say is documented. I have receipts and it's true. It's all true. And unbelievable. No. I want you to watch it. and I want you to dislike it, and I want you to get in the comments, and I want you to rip him a new one, and I want you to say my name. Oh, I want you to watch it. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to rip it to pieces, because that's what we do with garbage. We rip it into pieces. Okay? Don't boycott them. Listen, don't boycott them. They've been really good to me. I've been on there a million times, you know? But I really do want you. I want you to watch it. Listen to this insufferable bore talk about shit he has no idea about. This guy's never been abducted. He's only looked at 1% of the evidence, 99% sure that it's not true. That math checks out. I know that. You don't have to have a calculator to do that math when you've only looked at 1% of the evidence and you're 99% convinced that it's not a reality. It's because you're a moron. You're lazy. You're dismissive. You're deceptive. You're dishonest. Because this isn't a matter of science. This is a matter of psychology, isn't it? It's a matter of psychology that people just don't want to believe it. Well, I give a shit what you want to believe, man. Hey, I want to believe Charlize Theron's in love with me, okay? And Charlize, just if you're watching and you are, I guess leave video Charlize. All right, anyway, back to live action. What is it? It shows the difference in intelligence level of a real scientist versus YouTuber click scores. Yeah, because, hey, and that's, I called him out on this, you know? I called him what he is, a dilettante. He's a dilettante. Professor Loeb calls him an influencer. You're not a scientist. You're a science influencer, like Kim Kardashian. Unbelievable, you know? Unbelievable. And it really is true. Like, the more arrogant, the less intelligent. I brag like, hey, man, I don't get a lot of these. I'm the guy who's always kept down. I'm the guy who's always hushed up and fucked over and pushed back, and the algorithm hates me and people won't debate me, Like, I'm the guy who's always pushed back because I'm the one that you don't want on the other side of the table. No. You'd rather eat your own leg. You'd rather eat your own leg than have to debate me on something that I know really well, because I only stand on facts. Doesn't mean I'm right about everything all the time. I can be wrong. And but the thing is when I am, I go, oh, okay, fair enough. Like, it costs me nothing. It's painless for me. And that's how you get really smart. You get really intelligent by just getting used to, like, going, oh, okay. And instead of it like hurting you or wounding you, you go, oh, you're happy. You go, hey, it doesn't hurt my ego. It tickles my brain. Tickles my brain hole. And so that's how you gain intelligence, is by losing your ego. Avi Loeb has humility. He's like a pretty like chill guy and very generous. He did some back on the envelope math. I sent some back to him, and then I didn't hear from him after he pushed me and I pushed back. Like, no, not pushing, literally like verbally sparring, but mathematically we were having a little debate. And so far I've gotten the last word. And I think it's because he went, oh, okay. Now I have to really dive in deep, and he can't give me like a 5-minute answer. Plus, he also may just say, I don't have time for all this. This is great and all. It's interesting, but I don't have time for it. The guy's busy. But how generous, how nice. Professor Avi Loeb, thank you so much for your validation and communication and just the good vibes. Like, hey, thank you. It felt good. It felt good just to get a little bit of recognition for once, And it's like, I feel like I do all this work sometimes and you're like, why? It's times like this that are why. These are the things that keep me going, that keep me inspired. Why I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning typing away while the rest of you are sleeping like sensible adults. You know, this is why, like, I'm fine with having no life, because this is my life. You know, doing these things, fighting for something that's right and and just and true and worthwhile. These things are worthwhile, not just physics things, but also about UFOs. Oh, and on my and my ending point, and thank you guys also for being here, and thank you for your likes and for your comments. I love seeing you guys. Was really hoping to see Lady Diana here. She came and hung out on Friday, and my camera screwed the pooch on that. But you know, we're getting a really good group of people in, and I want to keep it high level. I want to keep it positive, man. I really do. If people will help with that, I appreciate it. But yeah, don't send coast to coast any nasty emails or boycott their show. No, no, no. You let them know who you like hearing on there and who you don't like hearing on there, and tell them why. I mean, you can tell them I sent you for all I care. Because at the end of our conversation with the producer, he was like, "So what are you doing at the end of July?" I was like, "Okay, we'll talk. We'll talk." You know, because I don't want to burn any bridges, but at the same time, man, I feel like that's what they're doing with me. They're doing that with a lot of their listeners. Like, this guy, look, okay, I said this to a friend the other night, and I'm going to say it, but it's like having him on is such a betrayal to every abductee, to every person who has a legitimate acceptance. I don't say belief, it's acceptance. We don't have to believe. We just have to accept. We don't have to like. We have to accept reality on reality's terms. And so for me, you know, it's like what if you had like a podcast about, you know, like the people who start with a J, right? And you're like, you know, okay, so, you know, we do these podcasts, we talk about World War II, we talk about the Holocaust, we talk about the genocide of the people who start with the J. But tonight we have a special guest. Adolf Hitler is here to offer the other side. No, Hitler doesn't get a say. Hitler doesn't get a spot, and I don't give how many clicks he gets. No, you don't get a say. Get away from the table. You don't eat here. You don't eat here. Huh? Can we just have some? Everything has become so just absolutely about fucking clicks. That's all it's about now. You know, it's just like back in like the 70s and 80s. You have to be gorgeous to have like a nice girlfriend or boyfriend, you know, because it wasn't based on everything about how you look. It was kind of like who you are, you know? Like, I saw dudes like, you know, you kind of a little bit beat up, but man, cool dude, man. You know, like everybody liked him. You're popular because of who you are. Now it's about how many clicks you get. It's about views. Everybody has bowed the knee to the fucking algorithm. You know? I don't bend the knee. No, I'm just going to be me. And, you know, people are like, oh, you're weird, you're awkward, you're abrasive. Yeah, you know why? Because I'm fucking real. I'm real. I'm a real person. And I have real problems and real limitations and real fashion sense. You know, I'm a real person. And I'm weird and odd and unusual because I'm really smart, but also really fucked up. You know? Like, I could do high level physics. I won't fill out a form. I don't fill out forms, people. I don't do it. So here, you fill it out. I will literally make the chick behind the desk at the doctor's office fill out the form for me. I don't fill out forms, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird. And I know that it's weird, and I still can't help it anyway. But I'm done with like autistic masking and all that stuff, man. Like, if you can either just like me or not like me. But here's the thing: I like you. I like you. I wish I was like a lot of you guys, but then I wouldn't be able to do what I do, right? So you can't have everything. But I can have you guys who are here, and I love that energy. I do. I need it. Like, it helps me, helps keep me, kind of balanced in my life, right? But I want to talk about the last thing I want to talk about again is the Good Trouble show. Host name is Matt. Good guy, like super nice guy. I really like how he does his show. And he was talking about, and also I made a comment to him. I was like, P.S. Because he had Avi Loeb on, and he was talking to Avi Loeb, but he was kind of pressing him about his team. And fucking Avi. Love you, dude. Don't always agree with you, but love you. He says that he put Michael Shermer on the fucking team because we need a skeptic. We need a skeptic. He thinks he's being wise and doing like the Abraham Lincoln cabinet thing where you have people who agree with you, but then you also have people disagree with you to kind of give you checks and balances. And I understand what he's trying to do, but politics and science are not the same thing, and I don't care what Neil deGrasse Tyson tells you. They're not the same thing. And also, Michael Shermer is not qualified. He's not qualified. And I told Avi Loeb the same thing. I told Avi Loeb. I told Matt. I said, hey, man, Michael Shermer isn't qualified to be on your team because Michael Shermer, first of all, is not educated in the sciences necessary. Second of all, he's not a skeptic. Skeptic has an actual technical meaning. A skeptic is an educated non-believer. You can say, I don't believe that, and the reasons are educational reasons. He's not a skeptic. He's a cynic. And those are a dime a dozen, buddy. And those cynics do not help science. Even skeptical, like, we're beyond skepticism. It's a reality. This isn't a cult or a religion, or this isn't a belief system. This is a scientific fucking reality that people like myself have given over and over again, like a logical instruction manual for you to follow and say, oh, no, because they're very good at pulling you off the track and distracting you. Oh, it's just a fuzzy picture or a fuzzy video. Oh, yeah, sure. Because that's all we have. That's all we have, right? No, we have every form of evidence that is possible for something to leave. And one of the things about Poole's razor says something that does not exist cannot leave evidence for itself. You can't tell me UFOs don't exist when we have an avalanche of evidence of every single form and function that you can find. Now, and so I told Matt I don't agree with Avi's choice. When I wrote Avi about my physics paper, I told him, no, Michael Shermer. We don't need skeptics. We don't need people skeptical about gravity on the gravity team. It's a reality. The interpretation can change, or it can be modified or better understood, but we cannot deny it. The same thing with UFOs, UAPs. Well, I say UFOs. I'm never going UAP. It's UFOs. Come on. Everybody trying to church it up. But anyway, my point is that we don't need people skeptical of reality. Those people should be excluded. Specifically, with prejudice. You don't think aliens or UFOs are real. You may go. Thank you for your time. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Yeah. Because we need people who, if they're going to study reality, accept that reality exists. Right? So, and even if you say, oh, I'm not quite convinced, Can I convince you? Tell me what would convince you. Let's go there. And we can't go a body, a ship. Hey, man, that's the dumbest. And also, if you're going to tell me what evidence you want, then you better tell me how to get it. See how they do? They try to say, oh, well, they're doing this all unscientifically. Yeah, you know why? Because we're not scientists. Well, I mean, I function as a civilian physicist, but you know, if you're going to say there's no evidence, define evidence. If you're going to ask for evidence, instruct us on how to get it. That's the scientific rules. So you can't criticize me for something you haven't outlined in science yet. We have, once you come up with those guidelines, you know we're going to meet them. So they won't do it. They won't put up guidelines. But when Neil deGrasse Tyson says there's no evidence, just simply ask him, what constitutes evidence to you? And what constitutes evidence to him is not evidence, it's proof. Yeah, proof is proof, man. Yeah, easy. There's nothing else in science. For people who say, oh, this must be proven beyond a reasonable physical doubt, these are the people who brought you quantum gravity, relativity, are holes in gravity so big that you could drive a fucking Winnebago through it. You know, they accept all of these invisible, untestable, and really not completely definable things as the basis of our physics. These guys accept shit that isn't proven all the time. This is overly proven. It's too proven. It's man, these people can't find the forest because all these fucking trees are in the way, man. You know, like I don't need people who function like that. I don't need people who function like that in the world or in society or philosophically. No, thank you. And then here's the bomb drop. Avi had no comment. But I want to point out that Neil got passed up. Let's point that out first. He took Michael Shermer over Neil Tyson for the skeptic. That is some shade, bro. He threw him shade. And then the other thing is Matt from the Good Trouble Show did a whole video on why Michael Shermer shouldn't be on his committee. And he agreed with me. I got Matt from the Good Trouble Show agreeing with me. I got Avi Loeb validating my math. I got Neil over here in Cricketville. My books are selling, man. The hits just keep on coming. What? Couldn't be happier, and I couldn't be prouder of you guys. Of you. Not me, of you. Because my channel's growing. My books are selling. The energy feels good. We have the momentum on our side right now. We need to push. We need people to accept. I don't care what you want to fucking believe. Believe this. Aliens are real. They visit Earth all the time. And sometimes they take people. They take animals. They take things. They take water. They take plants. They take whatever the fuck they want, apparently. Right? And that's why disclosure is not going to happen, guys. You're going to get as much disclosure as they could give you without giving you the full story. But see, that's the problem. You can't let the cat a little bit out of the bag. It's either in or it's out. And the reason they won't let it all out, the reason they haven't told us is because of the Greada Treaty, that they traded us. They sold us like cattle. Not all of us. Tiny percentage. Yeah, something like 2% of the population. They can have done. Not enough to rattle any, ruffle any feathers. Not enough to get people worrying. Not enough that anyone would believe you because your story sounds so rare. It sounds so, unconventional. And I think that's what that congressman was referring to. Congressman Burchett. He said, if they knew everything, they would set the earth itself on fire over the knowledge. And I think that's the part that they're worried about people freaking out about. Not that aliens exist. Come on, man. We all know that they exist. But what most people don't know is we've been sold out. That they traded away abduction rights of American citizens for alien technology that they can't even fucking understand. How do you like that? Traded away their citizens. Empty pockets. Empty pockets. Dumping trillions in black budget projects. We're nowhere. And the reason is very simple. Evolution. These people are thousands, hundreds of thousands of years ahead of us. And we think we're going to catch up with our stupid chimp monkey brains. Yeah. To their best technology with no help. Come on, man. You know, they're like, they're building these. Oh, are they? I'm sorry. Who are the physicists that they have working for them that are smarter than Avi Loeb, me, Einstein, Hawking? Who are these guys? Who's this collection of super uber mega geniuses who are all working on these projects and figuring out this technology? Love to meet them because they don't exist. And that's why it's not happening. But anyway, he called out Michael Shermer hard, bro. You should go watch the video. I really recommend that you subscribe to his channel. His shows are entertaining. And he does a very good, like a news type of format and presentation that I really like. Now, listen, kids, I've been sitting here tooting my own horn long enough. It's starting to get sore. I better put it away. I have really enjoyed being here with you. I love having this news. A lot of this drama, man. I'm in Dramaville right now. But I really couldn't be happier because you know what it means? First of all, it means Avi Loeb knows my name now. And he said, I will keep your interests in mind if a seat on the council opens up. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. What a recognition. But he knows my name. And he knows that I know my stuff. Even if he doesn't quite see everything that I'm doing, he sees I'm doing it, though. He sees I can talk the talk and walk the walk, Neil. And also, I just want to say, he is the stereotype. He's how you behave as a human being. Somebody sends you something great, you say, whoa, hey, look at you. What'd you do? Oh, you corrected Poisson's equation? Oh, nice. You know what I mean? But then he also tried to find something to help me with. He wasn't trying to shoot me down. He was trying to give me ways to fix things or things to consider, which is so insanely generous. I can hardly believe it. The humility and the generosity of Professor Loeb has won me over, whether he's right or wrong about things. He is a person who knows his science. And he's a person who is obviously willing to engage with the public, give credit to things that are worthwhile. I mean, I feel like, under such a veil. Yeah, that's why I feel like I've been just kept under a veil for so long. I got a peek at the light, And, it's hard. It's hard sometimes because this stuff is it's a dog-eat-dog world. And sometimes I feel like I'm wearing milk-bone underwear, But sometimes, I know it's a little cliche, but sometimes when you think you've been buried, you've just been planted. And this little seedling has got two little leaves sticking out. Hello, world. The light. Someone finally saw me. Someone famous, someone humble, someone generous, someone really intelligent, someone with absolute class. Professor Avi Loeb. I doff my hat to you, sir. And to all of you, because I didn't expect to be sitting here talking this long, but you guys are wonderful conversation partners. Really appreciate you. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go give myself a nice reward, in libacious form. I'm going to go have a drink and relax. And I suggest you do the same if you do the same. But yeah, a little celebration for the kid. One time. And please come back and join me. I talk about a lot of different subjects, but here's what I'm going to promise you. As always, I tell you the truth. I don't sugarcoat it. I tell it the way it is. Good or bad about me, good or bad about whatever. I say the truth. Don't be afraid of the truth. Yeah, they download info and test the best way they know. Yeah. But again, I have to caution you. Do not consent to alien abduction. Anyone, I understand the idea that people say, oh, I want to be abducted. No, you don't. You don't. Slow down. No, you don't. You think you do. And I understand why you might think you do. It's not what you think it is. Okay? It's not what you think it is. And they don't tell us everything. I tell you, hey, everything they told me, I have pretty much confirmed is the truth. But what I also know is that they're smarter than us. And they have a lot more information. And they don't tell us the whole truth. And if these grays don't tell us the whole truth, then that is a lie of omission. And a lie of omission is still a lie. And if you're lying to me, then I don't trust you. Don't trust. And I don't trust people who kidnap me and then want to give me a tour of my fucking captivity. I'm sorry. I'm autistic that way. Just common sense shit just kind of comes out. These people, these aliens, these grays, they abduct us against our will. They traumatize us. We experience ontological shock. I've got complex PTSD. Great. And that's another thing. People are like, oh, why are you weird? Like, take a fucking wild guess, man. Take a wild guess. And so I'm not perfect because, dude, that's what happens when you suffer from extreme ontological shock, repeated abductions, kidnappings, assaults. You have your brain played with, people inside your own head. These beings get in your head. No. Access fucking denied to everything. The first law of the universe is one's own body is inviolable. Period. End of fucking sentence. And if this is the planet at which they have to learn that, then I'll teach them myself. But I have news for you. The next time I'm abducted, if I wake up, it's going to get fucking ugly, dude. Resist. Do not consent. Do not give in. Do not want their attention. That's right. You hear Naja, she said it too. Resist. Do not consent. This is our fucking planet, and these are our people. And they need to keep their long, gray, weird-ass hands the fuck off of everything. You come and get our permission. And until you can do that, you have no rights here on this planet. I'm RL Poole. Have a good night. Love you. Bye.